life is going to bring us challenges that we didn't expect. There's going to be situations in life where we want to fall into a victim mentality, where we ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? We tell ourselves this shouldn't be happening right now, even though it's happening. And every single part of us is going to want to fall into a victim mentality, and it's going to want to actually make us resist the present moment. And I'm going to be sharing with you in this video why these situations that happen in life are actually here to help us grow, are actually here to help us move deeper into the present moment, and why almost always when somebody goes through what some people call a spiritual awakening, there's almost always some kind of a resistance that happens beforehand, and there's some kind of a challenge or adverse situation that comes into their life. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the difference between falling into victim and actually using these situations to grow even deeper and to have a deeper connection to who you really are, and to use these situations to empower you and move deeper into your true potential. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So you got to understand that challenges help us grow. And these challenges come into our life for a reason. That's what I believe. I believe that nothing happens by accident. I believe that these challenges, these adverse situations that come into our life, no matter how negative they may seem, and I'll be sharing with you some situations that happened in my life and are still happening, so that you can understand, even from my perspective, I experience things all the time that make me want to fall into victim. But what I've experienced in my life, and based on what I've seen other people go through, these challenges can be viewed as something that put us into a victim mentality, or we can actually use them to grow. We can actually use them to step into our power, step into our true potential, because these challenges can be reframed. And when we reframe them, it won't just be a reframe just to cope. You can actually use them to thrive and become your greatest version. So you have to understand that no matter how negative something may seem, it's always there to help you grow. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Now, one thing that I always teach people is that these challenges happen in our life. These situations that come in our life, I believe that we can just use these challenges as a reminder to move deeper into the present moment. And what I'm sharing with you goes beyond belief systems or my belief. It's something that can actually be experienced. And this is part of what this process is about, is removing the ideas about what is happening, but just to move deeper into the actuality and full acceptance of what you're actually experiencing in that present moment. So if you're experiencing something extremely negative, you can use that as a reminder to move deeper into the present moment. Look what's happening in the world right now. This is what a lot of people are going through. They're going through a lot of adversity, and we can fall into victim, or we can actually use these situations to grow. For me in my life, I've been through a lot of health issues too. And I've never shared this before on my channel, and this is going to be hard for me to share. And I'm not saying this to fall into victim, but I want this to be a little bit more relatable to you. So basically in my life, I have something called eczema, which is a skin issue that can become extremely uncomfortable, where my whole body gets really, really, really itchy, and that's an understatement. And looking back at my experience, this health issue that I've been dealing with, that it used to be a lot worse in the past, it's getting a lot better now. This situation, this adverse situation, actually led me to my spiritual awakening. And I didn't actually realize it when it happened, but looking back at the experience, this health issue that I had, which can actually be pretty bad sometimes, but I don't want to fall into that vibration, and I'm not really here to complain or to be a victim, but I'm here to share with you that this health issue that I had led me to learn to meditate. And I believe that we have these things in our life. Like if you're on the spiritual awakening path, maybe you have some health issue. Maybe it's not exactly like mine, you don't have eczema, but you could have something else. A lot of people that I noticed on the spiritual awakening path have some weird health issue, and it almost always will lead us to connect deeper to the present moment. And it's like, maybe I'm just rationalizing, right? Maybe my mind is just making that up. But I can tell you for certain, if I didn't have this issue, I don't think I would have meditated. I don't think I would have had my spiritual awakening. And sometimes things can happen with family where we want to fall into victim. We think these people are holding me back from my growth. This job is holding me back from my growth. This health situation is holding me back from my growth. Well, how about this? What if these challenges are the catalyst to help us grow? If you look at every single human being that has had a spiritual awakening, that has some story around how they awakened, there's always some kind of a challenge. And I know for a fact that no matter how challenging my health can become sometimes, or how negative a situation may seem sometimes, I can always maintain that connection to who I really am and see consciously that it's happening for me. Like this goes past belief systems. This is about just like I've had really, really uncomfortable situations. And again, I'm not here to step into victim, like with my health, with family, but it's almost like when that happens, rather than falling into my mind and becoming unconscious, I'll shift my awareness and move deeper into acceptance. That's the key. This is the key to use adversity to grow. Don't let your mind come up with a story around why you're a victim. And this is going to be the hardest thing to do, okay? Because this happens to me sometimes. This happens to all of us. The ego wants to play victim. The ego wants to complain. The ego wants to say, why is this happening to me? At a very weird level, it's almost like the ego wants to play victim, wants to play that little game, and it wants to suck people into that story of like victim mentality and be like, oh, feel bad for me. I want you to feel bad for me. Hey, nothing wrong with compassion. My heart is always open to everybody. But I'm not going to play the game of the ego, because that would be dishonoring me and a person. No matter how negative a situation may seem, even if it's a health issue, even if it's a business collapse, or even if it's an economic collapse that's happening in the world right now, I can see in my experience that these situations help us grow. And again, I'm not trying to fall into victim, but my health issues have gotten so uncomfortable sometimes, where part of me, and this is even hard for me to share, but I just feel like I really, really want to share this to help my community and to help you understand that it's not just an idea that I have in my head, but I firsthand go through experiences with my health all the time where my body is just totally uncomfortable, and there's a lot of issues that I can fall into victim about, but I choose to fall into not a victim mentality, but a mentality where I just go and start meditating. I start to accept the present moment as it is. I realize that my health issues don't define who I am. And these health issues aren't really who I am. These health issues that you may have, these family issues that you may have, these business issues that you have or may or may not have, you have to understand that life is always changing, and these challenges are going to come up. And when we resist these challenges, what we're really doing is we're resisting life itself. That's what we're really doing. We're resisting life. We're resisting what is. And resisting what is keeps it alive. And again, I don't want to come from a perspective of just telling you. It's like, I want you to understand that, like, I go through these experiences too. If you want to download my free guided meditation MP3, that's going to be in the comments down below. I go a little bit deeper about my personal experiences on my email list. So if you want to be a part of that, feel free to sign up for that, and you get a free meditation out of it too. And I'll go deeper into my experiences. I just don't want to go too deep into these issues in this video, but the truth is, situations happen in life all the time that are going to make us want to fall into victim. But it's like, and here's what I really want you to understand is, like, in those moments where you really, really don't want to be present to the moment, you think, Francis, now is not the time. It's like, Francis, I understand your whole spiritual your spirituality and your whole present to the moment thing. But like right now, Francis, right now is not the time to be present. Right now is not the time to be present to the moment, Francis. This is serious, is what the ego will say. The ego will construct a story around why that situation is serious and why other people should feel bad for you. Nothing wrong with opening your heart and tapping into your feminine side. But I just want you to understand that you can use these situations to empower yourself. You can use these situations to fully accept and tap into your feminine side fully, not with another person, but just hold space for yourself. Hold space for your own emotions, for your own physical issues, for your reactions to life. Hold space for that. And when we really don't want to be present to the moment, when we don't want to accept the moment as it is, and pull our energy inward and go into acceptance because some situation is very negative, this is what I want you to understand. In that present moment where you really don't want to do it because you think spirituality doesn't make sense in this moment, when you've fallen into the strongest victim mentality of your life, and every single part of your being has the strongest urge to go complain about it or to fall into victim or to feel disempowered, that is the moment that you want to connect deeper to the present moment. And that can be what allows you to awaken, to find peace. Because you have to understand, peace is not about having a good physical body. Peace is not about having lots of money. Peace is not about having good conditions in your life. What true peace is accepting the conditions of life no matter how they are. Unconditional love. Unconditional acceptance of the moment. That is peace. Eckhart Tolle explains peace as consciousness. It's an underlying field of peace that we are all connected to at all moments, no matter what the circumstance may be. No matter what's happening in your life, you're always connected to that peace, that part of you that can simply observe and allow and move deeper into the present moment. And you can realize that you are not that challenge. That challenge does not define who you are. That adverse situation does not define who you are. And so when you really want to fall into victim, remember that you can use that situation as a reminder to move deeper into who you really are, to move deeper into a state of peace. Remember, peace is not good conditions. Peace is a full acceptance of what is, where you remove the story around what is going on, but you experience what is going on with full consciousness. That's peace. And again, you're thinking, Francis, how can you say that if I'm going through some serious health issue, maybe even life-threatening? I get it. Again, I have issues that make me want to fall into victim extremely sometimes. And it's not easy sometimes to go through these issues, okay? And I understand you, and I understand that these situations may seem negative, but you have to understand that falling into victim will not allow that situation to pass. It may pass, but victim is only going to create suffering. The situation is not what creates suffering. It's the story around the situation that creates suffering. And I know that's so hard to hear, but I truly want you to understand that you have the power to accept the present moment as it is, no matter how much the ego wants to hold on, no matter how negative it may seem. If you don't believe me right now, you may just have to take my word for it. You have the power to accept the moment as it is. And remember, the last thing I want to share with you is that things aren't happening to you, but they are happening for you. And this is not something I want you to just take my word for it. I want you to become so conscious, to be so involved in the present moment, be so involved in something that's so challenging that it almost forces you to step out of victim and take responsibility. Now, what is responsibility? Responsibility is your ability to respond. And this is what's happening on the planet right now, by the way. We think that these situations are happening to us, but they are actually happening for us. And whether you believe in the divine orchestration of the universe or not, that is a good mindset to have, don't you think? Because I believe that everything is divinely orchestrated, that everything happens for a reason. It is happening for us. And if you don't believe in the deep esoteric aspect of it, at least understand that from a very practical standpoint, victim mentality does absolutely nothing and only creates more suffering. So understand that things are happening for you, not to you. And this mentality can actually allow you to grow and to find deeper levels of peace and acceptance and connect you deeper to who you truly are at the core. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.